Good morning. We are back with Act 3 and Scene 3, the last section. I've already taken you through the first two parts of Scene 3 with the transition into the final. If you remember, when the banquet has been laid out by the spirits, and there is this different kind of reactions by Alonso, Gonzalo, Sebastian, and Antonio, but do they really get to partake of the banquet? That is what we find out. And there is another very important facet of the scene, and that is, we as the audience, we know the reason why these men, why the shipwreck has happened, and why these men, King of Naples and his courtiers, are on the island, but they don't know it. They don't know that the heinous crime that they committed 12 years ago has not been forgotten. And perhaps the time has come for retribution. This scene is thus, you can say, the realization of the, the immensity of their action is revealed to them, right? And so here you have the Ariel in the guise of a harpy. Now, in Greek mythology, I'm sure you're aware of it, that the harpies were represented to be birds with the faces of women. And Virgil, years ago in his the classic Greek myth, the Aeneas, in the Aeneid, sorry, it talked about the travels of Aeneas and his men who actually lost their way. They lost their way in the storm at sea, and they landed on the island of Strophados. Now, when they landed there, they needed to survive. So what they did was they killed, and this island was of the island of the Harpies. So to survive, they killed all the oxen and the cattle and the goats, and they slaughtered all of them, and they decided to have it for their food. And uh, and then, and I'm quoting actually from Virgil's The Aeneid, Book 3, these lines. It said that, then we spread couches on the winding shore and fall a feasting on the dainty meat. And suddenly, with awe inspiring swoop, the harpies from the mountains are at hand, and with loud flappings shake their wings and snatch up banquet from us. So, um, even in the Aeneid, the banquet comes and the harpies actually snatch the banquet. So, let's see what happens here. And if you see the opening line of this, is the most important, so I'm taking the lines as it is. What does Ariel say? You are three men of sin. Immediately, there is no beating about the bush. Straight to the point. You three men of sin, Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, whom destiny that hath to instrument this lower world and what is in it, the never surfeited sea had caused to belch up you, and on this island where men doth not inhabit, you amongst men being most unfit to live. So it's very clear what Ariel says here, and he's very clear that you are three sinners, right? You are the three sinners, and it is fortune, it is destiny that has brought you here onto this island. This sea which never suffocating, which is never satisfied. You see, the water keeps rolling again and again and again. So anything that goes into the sea always comes back. You know it, right? That had to instrument this lower world and what is in it. So everything, the power of destiny rules the lives of everyone, right? And so does it rule your life. And because of this sea, you've been saved by the shipwreck. You've been saved by the tempest because you were destined to come onto the island. Come onto the island where there are no men who live. Why? Because um, this is a barren island. Yes, and also very important, uh, you who do not deserve to live have come to the island which is unfit for men to live on. So you see, it is like where men can't live, you who are unfit to live can survive. Yes. So that is what destiny has brought in for you. I have made you mad, and even with such like valor, men hang and drown their proper selves. So he says that I've sort of caused you a lot of um, difficulty. I've caused you a lot of harassment. Yes, and probably I've driven you mad. And he said that there are circumstances by which even powerful men, even strong men, cannot face these challenges, and they sort of kill themselves. They commit suicide out of desperation. Yes, and you see, Alonso Sebastian, they're trying to draw the sword. They believe that they can combat the Harpy. Little do they know the power, yes, of Prospero's magic. You fools, that's what Ariel says. I and my fellows are ministers of fate. The elements of whom your swords are tempered may as well wound the loud winds, or with be mocked at stabs, kill the still closing water, as diminish one down that is in my plume. My fellow ministers are like invulnerable. So he made very clear, you're fools. You really think you have the power to hurt us? We are made of the same element that your sword is made. Yes, we are fortune's um, officers. We follow the dictates, um, what fortune dictates. We follow fortune's dictats. Yes, and your swords will be useless against us. You will just be swinging it, cutting through air, or possibly stabbing at water, which will have no effect. You can't cut air, the air keeps flowing. You can't stab water, the water's flow will never be stopped. It will be like emptiness that you will be stabbing at. Yes, you will not be able to cut, destroy even one feather on me. Even one small feather on me, you will not be able to destroy. And he says, my spirits, my companions here, are as invulnerable, as strong, as powerful, as potent as me. Yes. If you could hurt, your swords are now too massy for your strength and will not be uplifted. If you remember what happened to Ferdinand, he could not move his sword, yes? So he says that even if you have the power to hurt us, you will not be able to lift your sword. You'll find it too heavy. So the power of Prospero's magic. Yes? But remember, for that's my business to you, that you three from Milan did supplant good Prospero. So this is it. The truth has to come out. Yes, but uh, but remember, that means. But let me tell you, my the purpose of my visit. I'm here for a definite purpose, and what is that purpose? My purpose here is uh, to remind you of what you what you were responsible, what you did, the sin that you committed, the three of you in Milan 12 years ago. What did you do? For Milan did supplant good Prospero. You usurped Prospero's position as the Duke of Milan. Yes. And what did you do? Exposed him unto the sea, which had requite him and his innocent child, for which foul deed the powers delaying, not forgetting, have incensed the seas and shores, yea, all the creatures against your peace. So what did you do? You supplanted Prospero. You put Prospero and his daughter on an absolutely creaky um, a boat in shambles because you didn't want them to survive. Yes, and you put them out to sea so that they would perish. Yes, they would perish for this horrible crime. Yes, you have to be punished, and because of the punishment, fortune has designed this journey of yours in such a way that you have come here. So this is punishment delayed but not forgotten. Yes, your crime has not been forgotten. Yes, and that's why the tempest. That's why the shipwreck, and that's why you are here on this island. So every creature of this earth and sea and sky, the sea of the earth is of the ship, the sea, the waters, and the sky is the harpies. So every creature that you see around is plotting against you because you have to pay for the sins of your past. Yes, for the crime that you committed. Thee of thy son Alonso they have bereft. That's why you've lost your son Alonso. You have paid for that crime of yours by losing your son Ferdinand. Yes. And do pronounce by me lingering perdition worse than death can be at once, shall step by step attend you and your ways. And what is he saying? Yes, that not only has your son Ferdinand been taken away from you, I have been ordered by my higher spirits, by fortune, to destroy you slowly, bit by bit, which is actually worse than sudden death because you will suffer and be and repent for the action every minute as the suffering goes on. Yes, and that is what my mission is. Yes, I will be with you every step of the way to see that you suffer for the crime that you committed. Yes, it won't be easy death for you. Death is easy. Yes, a dead man has no debts to pay, but you will be kept alive so that every minute of your life you regret the action that you committed, regret what you did with Sebastian and Antonio. Yes, right? And lingering perdition, dying every minute, not death, but the pain of every minute of pain and suffering, worse than death. Whose wraths to guard you from, which here in this most desolate isle else falls upon your head, is nothing but heart sorrow and a clear life ensuing. The only way, the only way that you can protect yourselves from the higher powers, the powers that has created me, uh, which which are these powers are ready to fall upon you, on your heads, on this island which is empty and barren. Yes, and the only way to protect yourself is what? To be sorry, deeply sorry, truly sorry, to be honestly repenting for what you have done to Prospero and Miranda. And also, nothing but her, and a clear life answer. And also, to make the promise that the rest of your life will not see any such acts so heinous as the one that you have committed. You have to promise that. If you don't, lingering perdition. You will die each day of your life. It will be more painful than even death. Yes. And he vanishes in thunder. Then, to soft music, enter the shapes again and dance with mocks and moors and carrying out the table. Now, you see, same as Virgil, ain't it? The harpies and the spirits removed. They are not worthy. Remember what I told you in the last class. The food is symbolic not just about the hunger that you have, but are you worthy of the food that you are served? These are three men of sin. They are not worthy of the banquet. So Harpy vanishes in thunder, and the other shapes come in mocking, yes, and they make faces at them and they carry out the banquet table. It's really. And what does Prospero say? Bravely, the figure of this Harpy has thou performed, my Ariel. He's telling Ariel, you really have mastered the art of performance here. Yes, you have been fantastic as the Harpy. a grace it had devouring, yes. There was so much of fiery power in you, and yet there was a grace with which you did it. Yes, the message went through. Of my instruction hast thou nothing bated in what thou hadst to say. You followed my orders to the T. Everything as I said, you did it. So this is all praise for Ariel. Yes. So with good life and observation strange, my meaner ministers the several kinds have done. And so so what is it? So with good life and observation strange. Good life and observation strange means everything has been real. Everything has been brought to life, and every little detail has been followed keenly. Yes, attention to every detail. Every spirit of yours, every assistant of yours have done, each of them have done the task that they have been assigned to do. My high charms work, and these mine enemies are all knit up in their distractions. So my magic has worked, yes. All that I have learned over the years, I have been waiting for this moment, and my magic has indeed been so powerful that my enemies are confused, at distraction. They're confused. They are at a loss. They did not even think. Their minds were not even thinking about what had happened 12 years ago. But now they are caught in a frenzy of thought. They, they, they cannot find the link, but then they realize there is a link. Yes, and in these fits I leave them in this confusion. I'm not going to provide any more answers. I want them to continue feeling confused and distraught and disoriented while I visit young Ferdinand. I have a task. Ferdinand is still there. Remember, 3 hours of sleep, he was doing all this. Yes, and Ferdinand, whom they believe, Alonso believes, is drowned, whom they suppose is, and his and mine love, darling, and meet him and Miranda. What does Gonzalo say? In the name of something holy, sir, why stand you in such strange stare? Yes, why are you still standing? Does it mean that Gonzalo has not heard that? I'm sure he's heard. But he's not a man of guilt. He's not a sinner. So he just followed orders. He didn't know that what was happening to Prospero was uh, a treacherous crime. He did what was humanly possible at that point in time for two people to survive, old man and a young child. So he said, why are you in such a strange state? He does not know about Alonso's uh, hand in that crime that was committed. And what does Alonso say? Oh, it's monstrous, monstrous. He can't believe it. It just horrible. Methought the billows spoke and told me of it. I thought that the clouds were talking to me. Hasn't he seen the Harpy? Of course he has seen it. But it's something that is too difficult for him to accept. Yes. The winds did sing to me, and the thunder, the deep and dreadful organ pipe, pronounced the name of Prosper. He said every aspect of this island, the clouds, the wind, the thunder, like the organ sound, the tabor and the pipe that Ariel kept blowing all through when they were walking. He said every part of it was echoing the name of Prospero. So my past has come back to haunt me. Yes, it did pass my trespass, haunting. The past my trespass, it did talk about, it did sing about my crimes of the past. Therefore, my son in the ooze is bedded. And because of that, what I have done, the heinous act, I have lost my son. Yes, and that's my punishment. And I'll seek him deeper than ever plummet sounded, and with him there lie buried. And I think for me now, what is left is to join him in that deep, oozy mud that he is sunk in. Yes, because I need to be with him, dead in the mud below. Yes, and so indirectly, he probably that is what he thinks is his best means of showing repentance for his crime. I need to die too. I have no justification to be alive when I've lost my son for a crime that honestly I did not pay heed to. So somewhere you feel Alonso is not as evil as, but he is definitely he's responsible, but not as vile. What does Sebastian say? One fiend at a time, I'll fight their legions over. False courage, right? He thinks he can still do it. These are people who are petty and small. They do not understand the depth of Ariel's approach, the importance of what he has said. He's only talk about I'm fighting, this false courage. I'm going to fight each of these fiends. And Antonio says, I'll be your second. Naturally, the two are the greatest of the sinners, right? And they leave. And what does Gonzalo say? All three of them are desperate. Yes, they are. They are distraught, but not all three. Definitely Alonso. The other two are only talking about fighting. Like poison given to work, their great guilt, like poison given to work a great time after, now begins to bite the spirits. Yes. So the guilt of the past is finally starting to gnaw at them, eat at them. Yes, gradually eat them from within, like poison, like arsenic, slowly causes the harm, slowly leads towards destruction. Yes, I do beseech you that are of suppler joints, follow them swiftly and hinder them from what this ecstasy may now provoke them in. So those who are younger, those who are fitter, follow them because they are in such a desperate state, they might do something untoward. What is he thinking of? He might is thinking of what Alonso said, that I would prefer to be lying dead beside my son in the depth of the ocean. He said we have to stop if they do something untoward. So those who are quicker, those who are swifter, he's not, he's old. Run to stop them from doing any acts that would cause them personal harm and injury, which their guilt might push them to commit. So here you know that he's only worried about Alonso because Sebastian and Antonio doesn't appear that they are remorseful at all, not even a wee bit of what they have done. So Adrian follows to save their, their king, right, in case something untoward happens. Right. So we conclude with this. We conclude Act 3. Very, very important. Please go through this carefully, and then I will come with the reference to the context, and I will be giving you important points to keep in mind for a critical analysis of the scene. Right. Okay. See you. Have a good time. This is the weekend, so stay safe and enjoy.